there is actually a lot of confusion, even in the academic community, as to the relationship between strength and hypertrophy, and what that looks like, what it means, how much they're related, what causes what, etc. So to spoil the plot, to get to kind of the conclusion, like a good article with the key points and then the reprisal of what they are at the end, there is a big difference between getting stronger and your maximum strength. And getting stronger is not narrowly defined as what is your 1RMs on the big three to meet conditions. Strength does not equal powerlifting. Powerlifting is a sport in which strength is expressed through 1RMs on these three movements in an organized fashion. But getting stronger could mean doing 11 reps instead of 10 on a 20-pound lateral raise over time. So I think what Jeff was not saying in his quote about how 1RMs are not important, what he was not saying is that you shouldn't be trying to improve your performance over time as a bodybuilder. What he was saying is that the 1RM metric of performance is not that useful for a bodybuilder.
Why you gotta make so much sense, Eric?
That's what I do.
Well, I think, yes, that spoils the whole thing, but it also should open up so, like it should be relieving to a lot of people, you know?
It also puts forth a lot of questions.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if someone was thinking, oh, bodybuilding, hypertrophy, strength, powerlifting. Oh, strength is important for hypertrophy. Sweet. I'm going to do some powerlifting and I'm going to test my 1RMs. And then I go, no, that's not how it works. Then they go, well, okay, well, how do I test my strength? Do I have to train to failure? Do I have to do the big three? Why is strength related? So I think when you break down a false idol, now all of a sudden the people need new gods to pray to. I think the way I used to present it, man, I'm remembering all the way back to our I'm remembering a specific conference we had in Sacramento. Man, it might have been 2010 or 11. I think Robbie Sardinia might have posed for us or something like that. And I was presenting on strength in general and its relationship to bodybuilding. And I had a picture of Martin Daniels and a picture of Doug Miller as just basically like blow your mind natural bodybuilders. And I said, yeah, these guys are huge and strength is important. Martin Daniels has squatted 500 pounds and that's really, really good. But he's not a champion powerlifter. And Doug Miller, he's really, really freaking strong. You know, he's done 585 for a few reps, but he's not a champion powerlifter. What is really important is that back in the day, Martin Daniels was not squatting 500 pounds for reps or 400 pounds for reps. And Doug Miller was doing less reps with 405 or less reps with 495 or less reps with 585. And now they can do more. So it's almost like, yes, strength is important, but the only metric is how strong are you compared to yourself previously. And if you are no longer able to progress in terms of some objective measurement in any rep range, arguably, then you may not be progressing. So strength is actually, it's a tough thing to hear Jeff Albert say your 1RM doesn't matter. And then for me to say what I'm about to say is that you're not progressing if you're not seeing some type of performance improvement, at least over some type of time in some of your lifts in some way. Because those seem like they're in conflict, but they're not. It's that the act of seeing the maximum you can do on a specific lift is really just not, I wouldn't say it's completely useless to a bodybuilder, but it's probably not the best tool to assess your progress. It's certainly probably the least specific tool to the type of training you're doing. You know, you might actually see your 1RM go down as you go from an intensity block to a volume block that is more standard, quote unquote, bodybuilding, but you might be actually getting bigger. And I think that's another tough thing people struggle with. We like to think in direct relationships. We like to think linearly. We like to think additively as humans, right? If I say that strength is a product of hypertrophy, the bigger muscles are stronger, it's very difficult to then think that it's possible to get stronger while you're shrinking your muscles. Like, how is that possible? Well, it's because there's more than one contributor to strength, right? Like, if you think of it like a race car, you know, and if you're trying to get a race car on the track at the fastest time possible, you might actually be able to reduce the engine size, but also reduce the weight of the overall car, like switching from metal to carbon fiber parts. And you've made the engine smaller, but you might complete the race time faster, even though your horsepower's down. I'm sure someone who knows something about cars thinks I'm an idiot or just embarrassing and hilarious, but I think it probably makes sense if you think about it. There's a lot of things that contribute to how fast did that race car get around the track. Maybe the handling is poor or it can't make tight turns. And if you reduce the overall weight, but actually reduce its raw power, and it can make those turns tighter, it's more efficient. And then the net result is it being faster. So it's not just any one of those singular parts of the race car that make it a good racer. And flat out speed, from point A to point B isn't the same as a course of a lot of turns. And I think if we understand that muscle size is one of the many components to your ability to express maximum force output through a skilled movement, then it all starts to make a lot more sense.
Boom shakalaka. Berto, what do you and your beard think about that? I saw you twisting it.
What he said, it's just a skill that we're specifically not too good at, but I think like bodybuilders like intuitively just know this, because like every once in a while like you'll see a good pair of hardworking bros, like they've been putting in the work, they've been like hitting some PRs, and then every once in a while they're like, hey, like I'm gonna max out. So as much as like they talk about like I'm not a powerlifter and this and that, it's like they kind of know. And when it's like enough time that it's like a new 1RM is probably not even a risk, I'm gonna go ahead and like go for that 4-plate bench I've been looking for. Mm-hmm. So like you spend enough time in the lab, it's just you see it enough. And I think what Eric, to touch upon what Eric said about it not being specific to what we do, it's just, I guess, too much of it is risque. And I've been caught up in, as a younger bodybuilder, when you hit a new 1RM and you're like, damn, that was cool. Like I feel like my training's been really coming together. And then you start doing it like every week, every other week. And then you kind of start to stall because the stimulus that you were partaking in to make that happen, well, you're kind of getting away from that. So I think like bodybuilders, like they hear 1RM and they think, no, not me, even though they still enjoy them, just much less frequently than like our cousin powerlifters. But most of them know this.